Hi, my loves. How you doing? I hope you're all good. You're doing great. And welcome again to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Miss Martin. And make sure you subscribe. Yeah. So, this video is a continuation of my previous video. So, if you've not watched part 1 of this story, go watch so that you can come now to this one and continue, because if you're watching this na ujawachi ingine hautajua what is happening right now. So please just go watch before you come here. Yeah, so let's continue. So now we are at Mama Lucy. So I ask the doctor what is wrong. Then he tells me that they were calling it embryonic pregnancy, something like that. And I asked him, why did it happen? Why was I losing my baby? He told me that they also don't know the cause for such. It has no medical explanation. And it was hard for me because they should give me an explanation. They should tell me what is going on with me. And they don't have any kind of explanation. So they don't know what is happening to me, and I also don't know what is happening to me. And it was bad. It was bad for me. Then I asked him whether will I ever get pregnant again. Then he told me that of course I would get pregnant again, and he told me we should wait for like 3 months, then try again, and blah blah blah. And now we requested to do another ultrasound, and for me, I was praying deep inside. I was praying and asking God, please let this ultrasound be different from the other one. And we went to do another ultrasound, and I remember while we were waiting for the sonographer, and right now it's like 3 a.m. in the morning. I was with my husband and I was holding his hands. I could squeeze it hard, and at that moment I was praying and telling God, please let this one be different. I was not ready to lose that pregnancy at all. So we waited for the sonographer. The sonographer came. We did the ultrasound, and now we went outside to wait for the results. And that was the longest wait of my life, waiting and hoping. So when the sonographer came to give us the results, I was shaking. I was literally shaking. Then he told us that he was sorry that we have to do that surgery, we have to do that operation. And I was doomed. I knew it was over. Like, now I had to accept my reality, because that was my reality during that time. And it was very, very hard. So they admitted us and everything. So before they admitted us, because I got admitted like to say 7-8, so we had to sleep somewhere, and I remember I couldn't sleep. I was just seated for the whole night, for all that time until 8. That was when they took me to the ward for admission. now the ward, the women ward where we were, I remember kulikuwa na wards sijui ni ngapi, but I can only remember 2. The first one was ours, and in my own ward where I was, we were like 20 women, and the 20 of us, we were going through the same thing, and I couldn't imagine. I couldn't believe it. I thought that I was the only person going through what I was going through, only to find 20 more women going through the same thing. And everybody had a different story, and the stories were heartbreaking. And I remember at that moment when I got in, I was feeling pity for myself, and after getting in, everything changed. In the hospital, you know, these beds za hospitals, the way zinakwanga kidogo. So we used to share that bed like 3 ladies. So the ladies that I was seated with a middle-aged lady who was like in her 30s, and a younger girl who was maybe my age by then. And now this lady, she could stay for like 10 minutes, then she would cry and cry and cry. And that would make me think, and I would also start crying. And the funny thing is that we in the same ward, there were other girls. I think, things happen to us, and what we feel or how we feel about it, it's very different. For some girls, it's like they were relieved because, for example, if you get pregnant and you are not married and you don't know how you will handle the situation, then you get a miscarriage. Yeah, something bad has happened to you, but it's like a relief. So I guess some girls were relieved because they were super happy. Walikuwa tu wanacheka, it's like nothing had happened to them. But now you come to this other side of these married women, and they were many. So I got a chance to speak with the lady that we were on the same bed. Then she was telling me that that was a 6th miscarriage. Oh my goodness. And I couldn't believe it. When I thought of just one miscarriage, what was happening to me, then this other person has gone through 6 of them. That was the 6th. I couldn't even imagine it. I couldn't even know how I would have handled myself if I was in a shoe. She was telling me that she was married, and ever since she got married, it was now like 5 years or something, and she had never gotten a baby. Every time she could carry pregnancy, she would miscarry. And now the worst thing is that people at home, they would keep on asking her, wewe tangu uolewe mbona hauzai, sijui nini nini, why are you not giving birth, what are you waiting for? And I could imagine what this lady would go through whenever anybody asked her about why she was not having children. And I don't even know, because people don't understand what you are going through until it happened to them. Actually, ever since that happened to me, I don't question anyone as to why they are not getting babies, because it's not even up to you. It's not up to you whether you get pregnant, whether after getting the pregnancy it will survive. And that lady, whenever she would think about it, she would cry. She would cry. And from there, I learned to never question any lady, never question anyone. Another one was saying that she has a firstborn who was now 16 years old, and ever since she gave birth to her first baby, she had never given birth again. She could get pregnant, and every time she gets pregnant, she would miscarry. And it was like her 8th miscarriage, and I couldn't even believe it. You can't even imagine, you guys. It is so hard to meet people who are going through the same thing, but for them, it's even worse because their stories are heartbreaking. And this lady, she was saying that people keep on telling her, yes, uzalie huyu kijana wako mtoto. Because first son was 16 years old and they were in high school, and people were wondering why she is not giving birth again. But if they only knew that she was trying, but it was not happening for her, they wouldn't ever ask her such questions, because it's so hard. It's super hard to go through such. Anyway, to cut the stories short, because everybody had a story in that building. Now, what was more painful is that next to our ward was a ward where now new moms were. And you can imagine, we are in the same hospital, but for me, I'm here because I've lost my baby. They are coming to remove my baby from my womb. And there's this other lady from the next ward who has just given birth, and they are happy. And you could hear babies cry, and that used to kill me. Because if you wanted to go to the washroom, you have to pass hapo tu. Or if you're going to take tea, it was time for tea or lunch, you have to pass there. And you could see all these now new mothers carrying their babies, feeling so happy. And now there you are now here, and your baby is normal, and it was painful. It was unbearable. Because for me, whenever I passed there, I would cry. I would cry. I would even stand outside the door and just stare at them, stare at their babies. Because in my head, I was like, this should have been me in the next 8, 7 months. I should be the one holding my baby, but now it's not me, and my baby is gone, and I don't know whether I'll ever have a baby ever again. And it was so heartbreaking. Anyway, so my time came for me to go and do the operation. And guys, the operation, oh my goodness, the surgery was super painful. Yes, they did inject me ile sindano ya uchungu, but for me it was not working. It was not working. And everything was painful for me, because I could feel everything they were doing to me. I could feel vitu zikivurutwa inside my stomach or my womb. I could feel everything. Nilikuwa tunasikia vitu zikivurutwa, and it was super painful. Then I even asked the doctor who was performing the surgery. He was a man, and he was super friendly actually. I asked him whether this was the same procedure that girls go through when they go to abort. And he told me that it was. And I was like, why would a person go to abort a baby and go through all this pain while their baby ako tu sawa and healthy? Why would you do that to yourself and to the baby? Because that pain, I wouldn't want to go through it again. If it's not labor ya kawaida for me to give a birth, I would not love to go through that again. Even I would not wish for my worst enemy to go through that. And I couldn't imagine why a girl would go and abort. For me, you'd better give birth to the child and take them to an orphanage, because that pain is unbearable. Anyway, that is my opinion. Everybody has their own, but that was and is still my opinion. And I remember after the surgery was done, the doctor wanted to show me what they removed, and I couldn't look at it, because whatever they wanted to show me was my baby, who was normal, and I did not have the courage to see anything. So I told the doctor that I was not ready to see anything, and I wouldn't want to see. So my surgery was done and I went back to the same ward. And when I got back there, I couldn't control myself. I cried. I couldn't imagine that it was official, that I was officially not pregnant, that I was no longer carrying my baby, that was when it sank that I'm no longer pregnant. I remember it was March 5th of 2021, and I couldn't imagine. And I did not want to spend any more minutes in that hospital because I couldn't take it. Seeing pregnant mothers who are going to give birth, seeing the new moms, it was a hard thing for me. So my husband came, paid the bills and everything. It was much cheaper in that hospital. So we did everything, and remember when it was on a Thursday when we had gone to the hospital. Now it was on Friday, so now on Friday we were now going back home. It was so we were reaching home on Friday at like 7 p.m. at night. So I remember after reaching home, for me I felt like everything had changed. I couldn't imagine going through all those weeks, enduring everything, the news here and the pains and everything. And what was it for? I ended up losing my baby and I couldn't take it. I cried. And I even thank God that I had not started to shop for my baby, because I was tempted to start shopping, and I thank God I had not shopped, because I can't imagine coming home with no baby na kuangalia tu hizo manguo. It would be very hard for me, and everything, life was not the same for me. I remember for that whole week, I did not even want to go out. I wanted to stay in the house and cry. I would even lock myself in the bathroom and cry, because I didn't want my husband to see me crying, because I know it was also hard for him. He had dreams, he had hopes, but everything was now shattered down, and I didn't want him to keep on seeing me cry. So I would hide myself and I would cry. And I had to come to terms, but it's hard, because after I started now going out, maybe to the shop, and maybe I meet a pregnant lady, ningesimama tu ningezubaa nikimwangalia, and my head would be like, that should have been me. Or if I meet somebody carrying a baby, I would just stare at them and saying that should have also been me holding my baby. And life was hard. And maybe people don't understand that I'm supposed to grieve, because I was attached to that pregnancy. However small it was, that was my baby. And it was hard. Let me just say that it was hard. But I was able to get through everything. And my husband was there for me. He never gave up. Every time I would cry, he would encourage me. And finally, I got through it. And for me, I prayed God to help me get pregnant again, so that I could at least forget. It's hard to forget. Even until today, I can't forget, because that was part of me. That would have been my first born son or daughter, and I don't know, but that was it. And I thank God, because After that, after 3 months, no, 3 or 4 months, we got pregnant again. And there is nothing which is very as in inaogopesha being pregnant after going through what I had gone through. So now that pregnancy, the second one, I was keen, listening to my body and everything. And I was praying and hoping that things will not happen the way they had. And I thank God because that did not happen. I managed to carry my pregnancy full term. Actually, I gave birth at 39 weeks and I don't know, 4 days, my second pregnancy. And I thank God because He made it happen for me. And He made it happen for me, He can make it happen for you. He can make it happen for anyone. And seeing my daughter right now, she's 1 and 2 or 3 months, makes me feel happy, makes me know that nothing is impossible. You just have to keep on believing, you have to love yourself and hope, because I know God will make it happen at the right time. Because if it was up to me, I would have had my baby 2021, but God made it happen 2022. And I'm so happy for that. I can't change anything because going through that experience has taught me so many things that I didn't know before that happened to me. And I thank God it happened because it made me a strong person. So, what I can tell you, first, make sure you have an HIF. Things do happen. Make sure you have a medical card. Make sure you have money saved, because things do happen. It's not like that, it's not the only thing that can happen, but things do happen. People do get sick, blah blah blah. Emergency, make sure you have an emergency trust fund for yourself, because immediately after that we made sure that we had an HIF. We even took medical covers so that whenever anything happened and we don't have money, we have a medical card that would cover for everything. For, for, for example, we had that medical cover, and it's the one that I used to give birth to my baby. And it covered for everything. And my bill was more than 150,000, and it covered everything. So it's a nice way for you to make sure that you're covered, you and your entire family, because anything can happen. So make sure you take care of yourself, take this medical insurance and everything. Make sure that you're covered, or if you don't want medical insurance, just make sure you have emergency money saved somewhere. Because if we did have, we maybe I would have done that operation in that hospital, and it wouldn't be as painful as that, and we wouldn't have to borrow people. So yeah, those are my lessons that I learned by going through that experience, and I hope you've learned something. I have not shared this story for pity, because right now I'm in a good place. I've accepted everything. I've just thought that I should share, because I know maybe I'm not the only person who has gone through that. And God has blessed me with a beautiful daughter by now, and it can happen to you. God will bless you someday. Yeah. So that marks the end of this video. This video has made me go back and telling it through inamaanisha nakumbuka tena again, but it's okay. I thank God for everything. After all, everything happened for a reason, and God had his own reasons for that happening to me. So this marks the end of this video. So thank you so much for watching until this time, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Help me grow this YouTube channel so that we can grow together, so that we can share stories with you. If the same has happened to you, please share with us. encourage us, encourage somebody, because I know God can do miracles. So thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Bye.